Yes, 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 yes. Q&A. Yeah. Halo. Halo. Yeah. Yours truly, Diva Laree. In the house. Represent. All right. So for whatever reason, I'm not able to stream over here. We're going to see if we can get that cleared up. Hello, my people. TikTok. Okay, so y'all got that membership package. If you want to get this, go and find the link in the bio. Okay. Or you can go to UNARepublic.com so you can get that membership. It's the cost. Droopy and Glenn, anything going on over here on my YouTube there. Now, let me do gays. These people don't have anything to do with God. And you need to understand that any marriage that on record with the state, well, that's not between you and God. That's between you, whoever you dating, and the state. That is a business. Let's be clear on this. Some of y'all be like, well, no, it's love, and you don't need this. Let's be clear about that. But the issue is that, when we're talking about gay people, and I don't even look, if you want to get married, for me, why do you want to be miserable with the heterosexual gay people? I don't understand why you do that. That they over here in marriage, and then they get a divorce, and then what happens? Somebody take half, you got palimony, and something that is uh, on record with the state. Now, when you have an agreement with your significant other, and you put this on record with the county, which is the highest authorizing agency on the private side. See, now you got to start dealing with private relationships because it's supposed to be private in the first place. But I need y'all to understand something. When you get married and there is a priest or preacher or minister, somebody like that, you got to understand that all they're doing is taking your marriage, which is now a business. That's what that marriage license is, a license. And then they go and to believe that the preacher that has married you, oh, they put that on record with the state. They got paid for that. They are an agent for the state. They are an agent for the state. Is a business, your spouse and the state. Understand that when you want to that relationship or that business, you're going to pay. That's why you got to have to and handle the situation. You and your significant other and God, then there will be nothing that the state would have to say as far as coming into your business. Getting back to that's whether you're heterosexual or gay or anything else. On the private side, your relationship is ordained by God or not, because it's between you and God. But I need y'all to understand, when I say the state, I'm talking about the United States Corporation, and y'all know nothing about God. It's the exact opposite, 180-degree opposite. So pay attention to what I'm saying. The reason why we want to start learning how to walk in the private is because now when we start dealing with God as opposed to man over here with the state, you got to understand, when you got a priest there, the priest says, by the powers vested in me by the state of whatever. Listen what I just said. By the powers vested in me by the state of. That right there is telling you that they are an agent to whatever state that you are attempting to get married in. They're just going to create what we know of as a license, a marriage license, which is a business. And now what you have has nothing to do with God. It's just a business that somebody has made money off of, and you are unaware of it. You're unaware of the value of this business that you have created, because it does have a value, because a trust has been created. The judge is getting paid. The preacher is getting paid, but you're not. And meanwhile, you're thinking this is some kind of marriage between you and God, and your spouse when it's nothing of the sort. So when we start learning how to stand and walk in the private as sovereigns, which they made you think the word sovereign citizen is some kind of real thing, and it's not. It's an oxymoron. But they're making you hear you saying that, and now they bastardized the term. When we say sovereign, that's something very highly spiritual, highly spiritual. But by them bastardizing the term, now you're afraid to say it and use it. But sovereign, that's what you want to walk like an adult. Because right now, when you get married and you have done that through the state, now you wonder why they come in and they take your children, they take your house, and they take whatever they feel like they can take, because you're not standing as a sovereign, as an adult. But when you and your spouse or your significant other, y'all sit down and you have an agreement between the two of you. And this is when, what do we mean when we say adult? You got to consider, okay, this really is a business between me and this other person. I have to consider what happens if we're not able to make this business arrangement work out. It's the same thing when you go into business with a business partner. You got to sit down and y'all got to have an agreement. Okay, well, if this doesn't go well, or this at this point within this many years, then we're going to do this. You got to sit down and think about, okay, well, we're going to split it like this if this happens, and we're going to split it like this if that happens. That's what you have to do as a mature adult entering into a business agreement, because that's exactly what a marriage is. Y'all come out of this crap about love. It's crap. I'm telling you, it's crap. Somebody has lied to you in this society. Are you supposed to marry for love? You better know it's a business. You better know it's a business. That's why they don't last, because y'all go into it thinking, oh, well, if we like each other enough, we're going to stay together. It's a business. All right. So we're understanding that when you are marrying and there is some ordained minister there claiming to be of or help you with, let me make sure I'm on the right signal. Maybe that's what it is. I could be on the wrong signal. I am on the right signal. Okay. All right. I was just checking, because my people over here on Google are not getting it. On YouTube, they're not getting it. All right. So, but here's the deal. When you, as if a gay person, and you have a spouse, you don't have to keep fighting these people to recognize you, because by law, when you know law and you decide to do your marriage as a sovereign, they don't have a choice but to recognize it. As a matter of fact, your recognition when you put your documents on record is higher than what the state is saying. You up here, state is down here. When you put it on record as a sovereign, then it's recognized. It has to be respected. So I'm saying to you, gay people, stop trying to fight these people to have them recognize your marriage when they not even of God. If you seriously say, I'm a gay person and God loves me, really? Is that what you believe? Then start dealing with God. Stop dealing with the devil. If that's what you believe, you deal with God when you stand as a sovereign. This is the same thing to my heterosexual people. And I know that I can tell this to some women, and they still won't get it in their mind, because they want to see a marriage certificate by this state. We's married now. We's married. Not recognizing even what marriage was in the first place. I'm going into it. Well, how much time? I don't have much time. I'm going to go into it. Let me help some of you all, you women who have glorified this institution called marriage, what it really is and how it started. When there was the matriarchy, and please note that matriarchy came way before patriarchy, the history of women has been hidden. And I know I'm going to upset a whole bunch of people. Y'all better do some research. Do some research. But the history of women has been hidden. And so originally it was the woman who owned everything, all of the wealth, all of the money, all of the land, all of the knowledge that was hers. And it was the man who took her over. Now she did dirt, and I go into this more in my history sessions. But right now, I just want to help you understand where this term, where the marriage comes from. So she eventually was taken over. And then, even when we're talking about the Bible, those scriptures were written by women. Sibyls and oracles, look them up. That's where all of the prophecies came from, the woman. But she was taken over. And it was the man who created religion. Melanated males created religion. All religions are patriarchal, and their purpose was to subjugate the woman, make her forget who she was, rewrite her history. That's what all people who take over a civilization do. That's what the Albions did to the melanated people. That's what, whenever somebody went in and conquered another territory, they took over, they take it over, and then they write out whoever they conquered. They rewrite the history, and that is what has happened with women. And when we do research, we can see that clearly. Okay. So now we have a situation whereby the woman, because you need to understand, even when we look at the term Pharaoh, Pharaoh means the woman's house. Now they call it the great house now, but if you look up the etymology, originally it meant the woman's house because it was the woman who was in the temples or what have you, and she had men who served her. The male served the females in that house. It wasn't no one to one, one male to one woman. Back then it wasn't. Men was scarce, and it was one man to these women. She owned him, not the other way around. But as the men began to rise and gain control, they coined the term sex. Look up commerce, and you're going to find the term sex, so that he can do commerce with her across state lines. Okay, she was his property. Oh, what you talk about, diva? Because that's not. Because marriage is a institution of God. A marriage is an institution of slavery, where the woman was his servant. Y'all believe me? Okay, let's do some etymology. Okay, what is a husband? What is a husband? Husband, the etymology, not the definition. Because see, some of y'all look up a husband. Oh, it means the man is the household or the head of the household. Husbandry, manager of slave or farm animals. That's what husbandry is. A manager of farm animals. Well, he was the manager and she was the farm animal, her husband. Okay. What about children? What does that mean? What is the etymology of, actually, excuse me, the word family? What's the etymology of family? It means slaves and servants. I didn't say look up the definition. Welcome, 11. I said look up the etymology of it. The etymology of family means slaves and servants. So what happens is we have this husband who has a wife, and he is the manager of this wife who is a farm animal, and she has a family, and they become his slaves and servants. Look it up so you understand what marriage really is and where it comes from. That has been glorified today. And again, I say to the gay folks who feel like they want to be married, why you want to be miserable with these heterosexual people over here doing this, whatever they're doing in this marriage that they have claimed is have glamorized and is not nearly what it is, what they say it is. Okay. I said all that to say that acting as a sovereign, if you're serious about being in honor with God, because you don't do that by getting married with the state. And you women who want to have your marriage license, even though you know full well this is a business that's owned by the